On Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2, I'm David Lovejoy.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rhonda Lahner.
And I'm Chuckalicious Chuck Williams.
The holiday season can add lots of pressure and stress for everyone, and despite the joys of the season, and for those who suffer from migraine pain, this season can be even worse to them since stress is common migraine trigger. Today, we're joined by Dr. Vargas and Mrs. Kelly Huckabee. They're going to talk about surviving the holidays and getting ahead of migraine pain. Ma'am, doctor, welcome to the show.
Yeah,
Glad
thanks
to
so
be
much
here.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Well, many people experience a migraine but don't realize that's what it is. I mean, we all get headaches, most of us. And talk to us about how we can know that this is actually a migraine and not just a headache that we could just take some ibuprofen or something for.
Well, you hit on an excellent point in that migraine is not just a bad headache, despite the fact that a lot of people seem to think that. Migraine, in fact, is a very complex neurologic disorder, and headache is really just one of many symptoms that are part of that disorder. So the people with migraine will typically experience not just the pain, but also light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, nausea, vomiting. Any one of those things, or even together, can cause a significant degree of disability. And you'll see that people with migraine are typically very affected by that disease, meaning that they can't enjoy the holidays maybe as best as they could, or sometimes they miss work, or sometimes they miss time with family.
What can actually be done to eradicate migraines? I mean, other than staying away from the triggers, is there something inherent that can be done?
Yeah, well, fantastic question, because you mentioned triggers, and the unfortunate thing is that triggers are such an individualized thing, and there are some triggers that we just can't avoid, right? And really, at the end of the day, we want people to live their life in the way that they need to, in the way that they want to. And so part of that means having open conversations with your provider about what you're experiencing and the kind of impact that migraine is having on your life, because that's what's going to drive a provider to really think about giving a person with migraine the proper arsenal to treat it, whether it be acute treatment, meaning treatment to take when an attack occurs, or preventive treatment, like you mentioned, meaning a treatment that you take routinely to try and prevent attacks from happening as frequently.
Ms. Kelly, let me ask you this. We were talking during the break. You suffered from migraine pain for some 25 years. Tell us a little bit about your journey. When you were first diagnosed, was it pinpointed right away? Because we just talked about the stigma that's involved. And it's hard for someone not in that body or that experience to judge the pain and the issues you're going through. When were you first diagnosed with migraines? And was that a long journey to get to that diagnosis?
Sure. So, like we discussed, I've had them for over 25 years, and it really, I wasn't sure what it was at first. Like we discussed, a really bad headache maybe, but I just, right after my daughter was born, I woke up and the sensitivity to light, as Dr. Vargas expressed, the nausea, I wasn't able to function with my daughter. I couldn't take care of her one day and had to call my mom, and she had to come and help me. And I went eventually to my healthcare provider, and, taking in accountability and tracking those symptoms over a long period of time was important, and keeping that with my healthcare provider. And it took a long time. It took basically 25 years. And then, when that daughter became of age to get married, I almost missed her wedding. That's how long this process has actually taken. And then still logging time and all of this, coming to actually a treatment. My family, really missing out on opportunities and being with them and suffering all of this time, spending random times of waking up and not knowing maybe what caused these, of being in the bathroom floor sick. And my family finally telling me, we've got to do something. And so it kind of pushed me to seek more opportunity to really talk to my doctor and get that information. It's key to get that information and really get close to your provider so that you can work together. And now I've sought and got that treatment that I'm able to spend more time with my family and enjoy those moments with them because of that.
Now, did you have to try many different treatments to get to a place where you are today, where it seems to be a little bit better? Was that the same treatment the whole time, or were there different ones that you had to try?
Right. Well, it's just, I think it's an individual kind of thing, but yeah, it takes just time. It takes connecting with your provider and learning. Your provider is learning you as an individual, and kind of you're working through the process of what's working best for you. One might not work, one might work a little bit, and it's kind of, the dosages and kind of different things like that. I think Dr. Vargas would probably be better at explaining that one. But for me, it was, just kind of finding that healthy balance and then finding the right one that worked for me. And fortunately, I did. And I'm, it's been phenomenal for me. So, yes.
Dr. Vargas, let me ask this last question here. Is the key to this really having that relationship and that communication with your healthcare provider? Is that the key?
I couldn't agree with you more. Communication is really such an important key because a lot of times providers and patients are not on the same page. And a lot of times that lack of communication can lead to suboptimal care. In fact, even among neurologists, people like me who specialize in migraine, sometimes we miss opportunities. So if people who are eligible for preventive treatment that are seeing a neurologist, even in that group, 58% are not getting the treatment that they need. And so the key to that is for patients to talk about impact. So talk about the complexities of migraine that they're experiencing, the things in life that they're not making it to and that they're not getting to experience, and that anxiety and that worry about when that next attack is going to come. And those are the things that tend to drive providers to take action and to take what that patient is experiencing very seriously.
All right. Well, migraine pain, don't let it detour your holiday plans. Contact your physician. Communication is the key. There are treatments that are viable and work for people. So glad to hear you're getting